Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from me. Let's start this week's, the following week's analysis with the US index. So if you look at Nasdaq as a whole, it looks still strong. The previous high was actually about 16771 and it's about 15516 now. Not far off, just about 12 to 13% from its high. But the candle which was formed last week is not that good. This is more of a shooting star candle, which may indicate a reversal soon. We will wait to see next week what happens. Okay, and the current support is actually here, 14619. So if you get a trend something like this, and comes up and goes down, then most likely it's going to continue downtrend. But if you get something like this, and it continues going up, then you may see it re-challenging the recent high of about 16042 before it reaches to challenge the previous high of about 16773. Okay, then the next one will be Dow Jones. I did mention previously in my previous video, Dow Jones and the S&P 500 are not really moving in tandem with the Nasdaq 100. So Nasdaq is more technology stocks driven compared to the Dow Jones and S&P, which they usually have quite a lot of stocks driven. But the main index which is more commonly used is the S&P 500 because there are 500 stocks inside, so it's not so easy to manipulate. Similar to how we will look at the KLCI index compared to the small cap index of Malaysia. Okay, so coming back to the Dow Jones, like I mentioned before, you can actually see something like a head and shoulders over here. So if this actually comes down and it breaks down from this level of about 34,000, there's a chance that it will actually from here it will actually continue going down, and the distance from here will be what you experience from the breakdown lah. Okay, it will be a similar 1-to-1 kind of thing. And then that's for the Dow Jones. Next you move over to the S&P 500, which is still same as the previous week. I still foresee there's a possibility of head and shoulders until and unless same for the S&P 500 and also the Dow Jones, until and unless it breaks this 4607, then it will indicate that the head and shoulders failed, which has also happened in many stocks before. Okay, so we still await to see how the market react to the economic data which came out last week. Last week was actually quite a busy economic data week. Okay, so moving next to the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 is kind of like Malaysia's small cap index. Okay, similar, they actually have quite a similar chart. This one also went up, and then this one also went up. This one also went up lah. Okay, Russell 2000 also went up, but same, we will wait to see whether it can break through from this 2000 level or not, and also this downtrend which has been forming lower highs since August 2022. Okay, now moving on to the Malaysian index. Malaysia's index for KLCI, which comprises of I think 30 of the main components of Malaysia stocks, similar to Dow Jones 30. Same, it's still challenging the trend line, but you can see it's not bad. It's actually going another new high. Higher high, but still within this downtrend channel. Okay, so basically the major trend is actually a downtrend channel, but it's still slowly forming higher highs within it. So you have a small bullish trend within the downtrend channel. Okay, which is definitely something you will need to break out. If the index is actually able to break out from here and maintain it, we will likely see a bullish market. Okay, and a lot of people actually predict that 2024 may be a bullish market, since 2022 and 2023 were not that good. Putting aside the major tech stocks like Nvidia, Meta, and Tesla, Apple, which were literally carrying the entire US market. So we will wait to see. But what interests me this week is actually the small cap index. Small cap index is actually doing pretty well. I think the last time I updated it was somewhere about here, which it just manages to break out, come back, do a small pullback, and remember actually, if you did watch my previous video, I mentioned something about like this. If this is the breakout level, once it breaks out, it will retest back the previous resistance, which is the same case here. After breaking out, it retested the resistance and then continued going up, which is actually very good. So I would like to see the index challenging back the downtrend line, and if it's able to actually challenge the downtrend line and break through, it will be quite bullish for the Malaysian small cap index stocks. Okay. Hang Seng Index did not open on Friday because of the typhoon warning, which I think is quite bad. It's still actually a downtrend, but you can see it's actually bouncing within this channel. There's a likelihood from the most recent one that it will come down because the candle is not very favorable for a bullish environment. Okay, so we just have to wait and see. And China 50, the reason why I put China 50 is because China is quite related together with the Hang Seng Index, and China is actually pushing very hard to push the market up. Okay, they are actually introducing many more stimulus lah. Okay, buying into bank stocks. I think they recently started reducing the interest rate as well. Okay, so it's not really in tandem with what is happening in the US side. China has their own plans. Okay, so that's the quick update on the major indexes. Now we'll go for this week's watch list. I have 10 of the stocks that I would prefer to have, which will be my priority stocks. But I will also try and include the other stocks as well, which because the market seems quite good last week. From Friday's closing, actually you can see that there are quite a number of stocks that actually broke out. Some of the stocks I did not include into my watch list because they already broke out and ran up too high, so there's no point chasing a stock. But these are the stocks which I have interest, and I actually put them into my watch list. So the first one is actually Glomac. If you look at Glomac, it is actually at a new 52-week high. That means for 1 year it hasn't reached this level before, and the previous highest level was in April 2022, which was about 0.365. And if you look at here, you can see that there's some resistance over here, but they actually turned it into some kind of support over here. But that's April 2022. I usually use 1 year high only. So looking at this, it's actually pretty bullish. And when it broke out over here, it was accompanied with a high volume, which is a healthy breakout. And then these 2 days was actually retesting a support of 0.385, literally meaning the stock is forming a higher base before attempting to break out again. So the 2 days were actually coupled with low volume, which is actually a good thing. It indicates that there is not much of sellers here. Okay, and then on Friday, the volume is quite high compared to the normal days volume lah. Okay, so current resistance is actually about 0.405, which is quite near to the previous resistance is about 0.41. Okay, and if it's able to break through 0.41, then you may see rechallenging previous highs of about 0.445 or 0.47 lah. Okay, most of the time it's actually quite of a sideways trend, but you can see it's actually slowly turning higher here. Okay, from this long sideways, it's slowly turning higher here. And I mean the previous high is about 1.29, but I don't think anyone would have been holding the stock since 1.29 until now. It's a bit too long. Okay, but we await to see what happens this week. Quite an interesting stock. Though it has been quiet quite long, I think the theme of finance and real estate is in play for this stock. Okay. Okay, next one we go Hiaptek. Hiaptek is a metal producer. The stock price moves very interrelated with the metal prices. Okay, but compared to the other stocks like Anju, Hiaptek is actually quite strong. Okay, it kind of broke out from this level, the initial stages 0.365, but I think I saw this. The only problem with Hiaptek is that it moves quite slow. Okay, but in recent times I think the movement has been quite erratic. You can see the bases form is actually quite pretty. One base here, another base here, and then another base here. So they have 3 new supports. Currently the latest support will be at 0.425. I like this support because you can see the resistance over here. Okay, 3 days in a row it failed. So when you fail the third day, it washed out up to here, and then it came back up. So you can see that only on the washout day it was high volume to actually wash out the weak holders, and then the subsequent days you know, on a small candle is actually low volume, and then the breakout candle is on high volume. So technically it's very healthy lah. Okay, it's climbing literally like this. I assume it's poised to go higher. So the next resistance will be about 0.475, and the current resistance 0.45, and the support is at 0.425. Okay. Next, MRCB is a real estate company, which has been the main trend recently. This stock actually hit new 52-week high, which indicates that it is really bullish. Okay. I think in the previous, I'm not so sure, I think it's in the previous video or the previous watch list, I actually included this stock as well. And I actually mentioned that 0.395 it will be a very strong support if it turns from resistance to support, and actually that's what happened. So you see the stock actually came up here, and you can see that the resistance is over here. Okay, because it came down here and then it rebounded here, so then after that it formed a base over here. Okay, so your resistance will be at 0.395, and then it started breaking out to this high of about 0.43, and then it came back down. Okay, so how do you know whether you should be selling when the candle comes like this or not? You can check the volume. Volume plays a very important role when you're doing technical analysis and charting. The volume here is actually low. You can look at this. I'm actually only using a 10-day average of volume, so it's more sensitive to what happens to the volume. If the volume spikes, then you will see the average actually spike as well. So based on this 10-day volume, you can see that, you know, for the past so many days, on the down days, it is actually half of the original volume. Okay, you can see over here this volume part when I hover over, so you can see this volume is about 18.5 million. Okay, up to here is all about 27.5 million. But then on the next candle is 91.62 million, which is like what, 4 times. Okay, and then again after it breaks out, you can see the volume reduces again. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, that means on the breakout there are a lot of people buying, and then on the consolidation day there's very little people selling. Okay, buying and selling is very minimal, which is a very good sign. And then on Friday the volume was enormous, about 195 million. So it actually attempted to go even higher, but came back down and closed at about 0.495. Okay, so currently the stock's support is at 0.43. The previous support will be at 0.395, which I assume is actually a very strong support. And the resistance is at 0.52. Currently at new 52-week high. Usually there's not much of resistance, okay, but I just highlight a previous resistance of about 0.52. which was a resistance in April 2021, December 2020. So it may be a difficult resistance to break if someone really held the stock that long, but I don't think anyone will be holding a losing stock for that long lah. Okay. Okay. Next one is Wellcal. I don't think I have included this stock into my watch list anytime before. Never really seemed attractive to me. But currently, if you look at the chart, is actually quite nice lah. Okay, even if you look at it on a weekly, okay, it's actually, you know, like big correction here, then slowly become smaller, you know, and it's trying to break up. So actually if you look at the chart, there hasn't been much volume. It's quite similar to Glomac. Okay, it hasn't had much volume, but currently I think after the most recent quarter report and nearing to the quarter report, which is this is why people say the stock market discounts everything. Okay, because right before the report is out, you can see that there's volume already coming in. Okay, you can see volume is pretty low here. You know, this is like a heavy selling day, and then, you know, started coming down, and volume has been dry. Okay, up to about here, you know, it doesn't move. I assume there's some exchange transaction over here, so volume is high, and there's nothing much. There's totally nothing much all around until recent days before the QR. You can see that volume is starting to pick up. You see there is an attempt to break out here. Okay, this high was only tested in November 2022, and the next time it tested was about 8 months later. Okay, which should tell you something lah. Okay, there's an anticipated rally or something to the effect lah. Okay, and then here you can see it actually challenged, attempted to break out and actually closed at the resistance. The next day, lower volume again, same like how MRCB and Hiaptek was. Okay, and then it came up to here, and then this was the day the quarter report came out. So close at 1.26, quarter report come out, open at 1.34, went up to 1.36, and then came back down, close at 1.31. Okay, but still very nice because you see the subsequent days the volume is reducing, okay, which is again very good. And then one long candle comes out, and then another 2 days of reduced volume, and then another long candle. So actually this is a very healthy uptrend now, okay. Low volumes on correction days and high volumes on breakup days. So the previous 5-year high is 1.38 and currently is already at a 52-week high, okay. I assume the stock may come back to this previous resistance, okay, because you can see the resistance here, try to break out, cannot, come back down, push up, try to break out again, cannot, then push up again, okay. So I assume that you'll come to about this level of 1.36, okay. If this resistance turns into support, if it doesn't, if let's say it becomes like a growing stock, then maybe it will come down lower, okay. The support for this stock is currently at 1.33, and this one is a bit different. I see quite a number of supports. The other support will be here when it retests the gap, and also if it does close the gap, okay. So that's for Wellcal. Next one is MSM. Okay, I had this stock in my watch list for a long time. I don't know why the stock has actually turned quite bullish. I think the first point it turned bullish is here, should be this level in May, and subsequently has been slowly climbing, you know. And then here you can see actually there's a very solid base. I think MSM was also in my watch list last week, and the stock decided to do a super breakout on Monday. Okay, this is a very fierce breakout, extremely fierce one. So you can see that the like I told you, the volume is extremely low. Okay, you can see MSM's volume with a support of 1.02, the volume is always about on below 10 days average. Okay, every single day the volume, even this one, the high volume is about 3.3 million, okay, and it's about here. But you look at this small breakout is 3.9, and the volume on Monday is 19.4, which is much more lah, okay. So at the moment I think there will be quite a lot of resistance over here at this level 1.44, okay. I assume 1.45 lah, okay. But this level is a bit far. It's about 2021. It's quite unlikely for someone to hold a stock from 1.45 and not get washed out at about 0.67 lah, okay. That's about like 50%, unless they are extremely confident with the fundamentals of MSM, which I am not a fundamentalist. So based on the chart, you can see that it comes down like this, then this is the basing, okay, and it starts climbing, retest the base. You can see that the volume here is also very low, and then come up, retest another base, and decide to break up, okay. This is a very nice chart lah, okay. So currently the support will be at 1.26, while the resistance will be at 1.44 lah, okay. This area will give you quite a lot of resistances, because if you look at it, the stock climb up to 1.44, okay, then close at 1.40. The next candle open at 1.40, attempted to go higher again, got blocked at 1.41, and then slide down to about 1.30, okay. So we see whether this stock will go up or not. Basically this is a sugar company, okay. Maybe there's a hike in sugar prices, okay. I'm not so sure, okay. But the recent quarter report is narrow loss only lah, okay, and I don't follow the quarter reports. Okay, next stock will be UMC. Resistance is at 0.795, while support is at 0.75. Okay. You can see that it's actually trading sideways lah. Okay, since the high volume breakout over here, the stock has been trading sideways, with the support is at 0.795 and the resistance at support is at 0.75 and the resistance is at 0.795. Okay, so there's a possibility that it can break out currently because the volume is quite high. Okay, actually if you look at it, you know, this correcting this volume is actually pretty low. Okay, and then this candle became high lah. Okay, but the only problem you need to worry about UMC is the quarter report. Quarter report is going to come out soon, and we don't know whether the quarter report will be good or not. Okay. Okay, next is Pantech. Okay. Pantech is another stock that broke 52-week high. Considered bullish actually to break a 52-week high in a bearish market like this, where the small cap index, the KLCI index is all downtrend. To break a 52-week high is actually strong. Okay. you can consider this as like a cup and handle, you know, one cup and then the handle. You can also see like just this part lah, okay, we don't look so far, but usually we do back testing lah, okay. So when it came up to here, it started correcting over here, then went through for another cup, managed to break out, but you know, with the resistance here, then came back down. And then you can see there is a clear support at about this range 0.835, and like I told you before, the previous resistance turned into support. So this area is the resistance, and then now it's touching it, it will just touch the area and rebound. So that's like a new support for the stock lah. Okay, so the support is at 0.835 while the resistance is at 0.875. okay, so the question will be, will the previous resistance now turn into a new support? Okay, the previous resistance is at 0.86. okay, so we will wait to see lah. Okay, and then next stock is Astino. I think I covered this stock as well last week. Quite an interesting stock to look at since the basing has been done. Okay, Astino has been on downtrend since what, May 2021, and then this is the stage 1 lah. Okay, like I mentioned before in the previous video, the resistance now is currently at 0.59. okay, quite obvious. Attempted 2 days, hit here, and then the next day directly came down, but we use volume to see lah. Okay, if you look at it, it came up to here, okay, 0.575, and then came back down to retest this support, which is at 0.555. okay, this support over here, and then the next day it actually opened same price 0.565, and then came up to 0.575, and the next day it rallied up to 0.59. okay, subsequently put back down. This area to this area's volume is low, so you know that there is not much sellers. Okay, this candle's volume is lower than the previous day's candle, which you also know that the sellers is not much lah. Okay, but there are more people selling compared to buying. You will actually be able to see if you go into your brokerage account and look at the transactions. Okay, how many people are actually selling, and you will know lah whether it's actually a big seller, it's a heavy seller or not. Okay, so that is it. And so the resistance is 0.59 and the current support is at 0.555. We will wait to see lah, okay, whether it can break out or not. Okay, next one is Itmax. I included this stock in last week's watch list, and I'm also including it in this week. So it didn't manage to break out. Okay, it came back down. The good thing is that the volume is low lah. Okay, so it came down on lower volume. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But you can see that there is a rebound over here. Okay, it kind of stopped over here. I'm not so sure whether it's going to break down or not. If it break down, means the VCP cup pattern has failed lah. Okay, if it breaks down lower than 1.41, then it has failed lah. Okay, that means you have a base that is larger than the previous one. Okay, VCP is, you are supposed to have smaller and smaller bases. Okay, so if it breaks, that means it would have failed lah. Okay, but other than that, actually I feel the trend is still intact and just waiting for a breakout. Okay, so just remember the resistance is at 1.46 and the support is at 1.42. okay, then the next stock is Gtronic. Gtronic, actually I anticipated head and shoulders over here. I think I explained this in the previous in last week's video as well, and then it rallied up here. You can see it's now consolidating lah. Okay, pull back and wash out and everything. Currently the resistance is at 1.71, which was the resistance that was formed from the previous rally. I don't think the rally will end that fast because it has been sideways for quite a long time over here. If you look at it, this entire thing is actually a sideways trend. Okay, so I don't think it will end that fast. Usually stage 2 are quite strong lah. Okay, and it's the first cup, the first basing from the stock rally, so I don't think it will end that fast. Okay, so it's literally going out like this in a stairway manner, which is actually very, very healthy. Okay, so we will wait to see whether the stock continues going higher. The resistance at 1.71, the gap resistance is at 1.59. okay, gap resistance is in the sense that if you have a stock like this and suddenly I can't draw like this, the gap here created for a gap down, eventually you will have a resistance when the stock climbs back up. Okay, so like this level will become a resistance. But if let's say you have a gap up, okay, if you have a gap up like this, then this will be a support. So it's basically the same thing lah. Okay, if you go down, this will become a resistance. Okay, and if you break up, this will become a support later on if it does come down back. Okay, I think about 80% of stocks that gap up or gap down do come and hit back at that level. Gap up more often lah, gap down more rare to hit. Okay, gap down usually down, continue going down. Okay, but it doesn't apply to all stocks lah. Okay, so the gap support will be at 1.51. It will attempt to actually close the gap. Okay, it can also attempt to just hit the gap. Okay, there are two supports lah. So it's actually 1.51 to 1.53. And if this gap fails, then your next support will be at 1.44. Okay. I think the Q1 for this company is quite long lah. Okay, TradingView anticipates it's about end of October. But for Malaysian stocks, we actually don't know one lah. Okay. Next stock is RANHILL. Quite a good trend stock. You can actually see it's more like a cup. Okay, one cup over here, and then pull back lah. Okay, then break up. The volume on Tuesday is quite enormous. But the support is quite far. Okay, this is the support 0.605, and this is in case, like I told you all, previous resistance turns into support at 0.64, then there's a possibility that the stock will like this, come up here, then come back down before going higher. Okay, there's that possibility. We'll wait to see whether this previous resistance will turn into support or not. Okay, CUSCAPI, quite nice also. Okay, you can see that there's huge volume coming in, and post earnings report there is still huge volume coming in, so there may be something to it. Okay, but just bear in mind that this is a penny stock. A few bits will actually cause you to already lose 10% of your capital, which is something that you need to be very careful of. Okay, so you can see that it broke down from here, then it formed the first cup, and then it formed the second one, and then it formed the third one, and then it broke out. Okay, this cup and this cup, same support, but this one much tighter and then break out, so considered quite good lah. Okay, then it's consolidating over here, then attempted to break out at 0.215. Okay, and the support will be at 0.19. Okay, gabungan QRS, GBGAQRS, okay, whatever the name is, a construction stock. I think most construction counters are actually pretty hot lately, construction and also property. Most of the money are flowing there, but it cannot be flowing into there forever lah. Okay, the money will eventually rotate to other sectors as well. So currently the stock, I think I also highlighted this. Let's check and see. No, I actually highlighted it quite some time ago. Okay, the stock actually broke up. The stock broke out from this level lah. Okay, you can see it's head and shoulders over here. Okay, but the last one is actually a cup lah. Okay, just a cup like this, break out, then come back and retest this level 0.305. Okay, it actually broke lower than the resistance. Next time I may just do some videos to actually explain, if let's say a stock breaks out, then the correction, the small pullback comes, where will it land? Okay, then maybe it will be a bit better for you guys. But at the moment it lands at 0.305, and then it decided to go back uptrend lah. Okay, so the problem with this is yeah, the risk is quite big lah. Okay, like, you know, this is definitely the breakout level 0.30345, and the support will be at 0.305, so the level is a bit high lah, 11.58%. Okay, even at the moment, the problem with stocks that climb up so fast is you don't have a support level. Okay, a support level is actually very important when you are forming your trading plan, because you need to know where is your support and where is your resistance. You need to know, you need to have good risk management, and you need to have good capital management. Okay, so this is your resistance, this is your support. In between it may form a new support, then we will see how lah. Okay, but this is a very bullish stock. Okay, WCT, I am not so sure what company this is. okay, but the chart is good lah. Okay, same thing came, but this is a bit better to enter. This one come up here like this. I mean, in no way am I asking you to buy this stock. I am just saying that the pattern gives a better entry, better resistance support to see. Okay, compared to this one, is like direct up. Okay, but you compare with this one, is like this. Okay, it's nicer lah. Okay, so yeah. Currently the support is at 0.5 here. Okay, because you can see it kind of tested the area twice. Okay, come back down, then go back up again. Your next resistance is quite far lah, 0.61. That's in like 1 year plus ago. Okay, IJM. I told IJM because IJM is in my watch list because IJM has a very bullish daily candle. Okay, it basically engulfed the previous day candle. But what I don't like is it's on a low volume lah. Okay, engulf meaning that whatever the body here can eat the previous day's candle. You know, you literally engulf the entire candle lah, which is a very bullish thing. So the immediate resistance is definitely at 1.86. But if you look at it from May, you have like 1.87 and 1.90, so you also have issues there lah. Okay, another construction company also, like I said, is in the is the hot team now. We'll wait to see lah whether it will break or not, but the support is at 1.75 lah. Okay, Lagenda is a property stock. Compared to many other property stocks like eWin, EcoWorld, SP Setia, I think this one is a bit of a laggard. It's much slower compared to the other stocks. But the trend is quite intact. Okay, if you look at it as a whole, you will have one correction, two correction, and then three correction. Okay, so basically you have three corrections before any breakout. Okay, 1.32 is definitely the resistance. You can actually see like this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and now is 10th. Okay, many times already lah. Okay, hit the level, and currently the support is at 1.28. Okay, laggard but still bullish. Okay, I think most of the property stocks are bullish, but the support and resistance is actually very far. Like SP Setia, is actually quite far lah. Okay, it ran up. You look at, like, you know, from the base until here. Yeah, it's already like 92%. Okay, Lagenda is like 13% only. So stocks cannot go up forever lah. Okay, not every year there will be one a superhero stock lah. Okay, I think this year's one should likely be YTL and YTL Power lah. Okay, I think Wells also is quite well, but Wells is kind of dropping. YTL is like kind of endless lah. Okay, we wait to see when it happens. I think one more year was Genitech and stuff like that lah. Okay, TTVHB, tech counter, another engulfing candle and on high volume as well, quite interesting. So the support will currently be at 1.07, quite obvious from here, this candle, and your resistance will be at 1.18. Okay, but you may also make a resistance at 1.19 lah. Okay, this one also sideways trend for quite long. Actually, if you put the range, it will be somewhere here lah. Okay, this box to up here. Okay, SMRT, another bullish candle, which is why I said in the beginning, quite bullish lah, the market actually. Okay, but whether you want to say it's confirmed bullish or not will depend what happens in the market. Okay, if let's say there was only a 1 day show, and then you know, next week start to have another red candle, then it's just It's just a sector rotation for money lah. Okay, but if let's say next week still got continued uptrend, then maybe it's confirmed bullish already lah. Okay, but we have to wait and see lah. Okay, so for SMRT, the resistance will be at 0.795, while the support will be at 0.685. Your next support will be here lah, 0.65. Okay, and you see lah whether you will what will happen to the stock. Okay, but the candle is actually very bullish lah. It really engulfed the entire previous candle, and the previous day candle is actually with a very low volume. I think the company posted a quarter report, and it's a very good one lah. Okay, SKPRES, I think I just shift VS up here. This one is literally abang adik lah. Okay, they are both EMS players, and I think I read articles about it that they are competitors, but they are very healthy ones lah. Okay, some of them kind of like they sell things to each other and stuff like that, not the unhealthy enmity time. And that's what I read lah. Okay, but I'm not so sure. But chart wise, actually both are bullish. I think I highlighted SKPRES in my previous watch list. That is actually forming VCP nicely. This is actually this part here is actually a washout candle lah. Okay, you can see that it's actually very low volume. If anyone kena wash out here, then it's safe to say you got washed out lah. Okay, weak holder lah. Okay, you can see that there's a VCP over here, very nice one, come over here, then cannot break out, so pull back, have to wash out. So only one candle is high volume, which is the washout day, and then subsequently it continued going lower until 0.92, form the support over there, and then it turned bullish. Okay, you can compare the volume for all these days, 1 million, 1.7, 834k, 1.4 million, blah blah. But you see on this candle is 7.4 million, so actually this is the signal lah. Okay, that the volume has started coming in already. This volume is quite similar to this one's. It's actually, this is breakout. Okay, you know the resistance is here, 0.98, and the volume they attempt to break out is with about 5 million. But here there's about 7 million, so you know lah. Basically volume already started coming in for this company. Okay, and then the next day broke out at 11.7 million, and then there's a huge bar. So the volume and compared to the price candle is actually a healthy one lah. Okay, so we await to see lah whether the previous resistance, this level 0.98, will turn into the new support or not. Otherwise, the support will be at 0.92 and the resistance will be at 1.08 lah. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, the gap up and gap down. So previously, you can see that the stock came up here, then keep testing this area, test, cannot break down, keep rebounding. Then next day, terus give one gap down, okay, to here, and then it directly went down. So this gap will now serve as a resistance. So when the stock comes up to 1.08, you will have to test this level. Okay, the explanation behind it is a bit long lah. Okay, I won't really explain, but because this was a previous support, so we see whether this support will turn into a resistance or not. It may be able to break out, it may not lah, it may reach, then it may pull back, and then it will attempt to go up again, you know, stuff like that. So we await to see lah. Okay, so similar to VS, no VCP, more to a cup and handle lah. Okay, you can see from here, pull up to here, and then form another cup. Okay, so this one is a cup and handle pattern, but both broke out on the same day. Okay, and you see both also volume started coming in on Wednesday itself, and then Friday breakout lah. Okay, so they are both EMS counters. Maybe it's the next sector which the funds are going to rotate to. I'm not so sure. But judging by the number of stocks that are in my watch list, I think there should be some money flowing in to the Malaysian stock market. Okay, next is CEB. CEB is a stock with very low shares float as well. I think this is as low as AAX. About there lah. Okay, AAX is about 248 million, while CEB is about 266 million. Downtrend quite long. Okay, since debut lah, since IPO. A downtrend hit here, then came back down the next day, retested, then come back down, then since then never really broke the downtrend channel, downtrend line. Finally breaking out. I hope it's a real breakout, not a fake one. Seems to be quite strong. the volume is also quite healthy lah. Okay, so previous resistance you can see is over here. Okay, it's actually quite obvious. This one, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so 4 times he has attempted, fail. So your previous resistance is at 1.24. Like I mentioned previously, may come back lah. Okay, stocks may do like this. Okay, then come back and attempt to go higher. But currently your resistance will be at 1.3, which is quite obvious around here. And also your support is currently at 1.18 lah. Okay, until this previous resistance become a support, you cannot treat that as a confirmed support lah. Okay, you need to let the stock show you what's happening first, then you know what to do lah. Okay, HIBISCS, I think O and G stocks were also star performers on Friday. But I didn't include stocks like Dayang because I think they have ran up too much, and it's a bit hard to actually find a support and resistance there lah. Okay, so for HIBISCS, the breakout was from here, 0.99. You can see 1, 2, and then breakout here lah. Okay, with quite a healthy volume. Okay, so it's actually considered a gap up lah over here to here. I'm not so sure whether it will close or not, but it may just go up something like this. Okay, so currently your support will be at 0.92 until this resistance turns into a support lah of 0.99, and then your next resistance will be at 1.03. Okay, you can see from the past, 1.03 has been a support 2 times, 4 times hit, and then the next day breakdown, try to break 2 times, cannot. Okay, so it's actually a resistance. So currently when it hits 1.03, it actually pushed further to 1.04, then came back down lah. Okay, so I will assume 1.03 as the resistance, not 1.04 first. Okay. Okay, next stock is MSC. It's actually bullish, but this stock's problem is very dependent on the tin prices. Okay, this stock's high was about double top 5.48. It was super bullish. Okay, it was really bullish during those days. Together with PNB Tech, I think the bullishness was because of tin used for EV or something like that. Okay, but since then it has been downtrend extremely badly, and currently it's starting to climb higher. Okay, so you can see that the support for this will be 2.15 to 2.17, and then the resistance will be 2.27 to 2.29. Okay, but you need to always follow tin prices lah. Okay, for this stock, because once tin prices go down, the tin futures prices, usually the stock don't do well lah. Okay, it's very dependent. It's something like HIBISCS need to follow oil price, Hiaptek need to follow metal prices. Okay, so next one is PHARMA. Interesting stock. I think for anyone who is in medical line will actually know that Pharma Niaga deals quite a lot with the government sector, quite a lot of businesses lah. Okay, so I don't think Pharma Niaga will go bankrupt. I think they are doing fine. I mean, they have debts lah, but I think as a company it should be okay lah. Okay, so I think this one came out when the quarter report mentioned they have debts of don't know how many million due to the vaccine process. So it got wiped down badly. But it's interesting to note that it has covered the gap lah. Okay, and it doesn't seem like you know, got gap, come up, then come back down. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like cover gap, you know, cover gap at about here, come back down, consolidate, then pull back, and it's still climbing, which I think is a good thing lah. Maybe there are good things developing in Pharma Niaga, which I don't know. I don't follow the stock's fundamentals and news. Okay, it's something to watch out for lah. Okay, because Pharma Niaga is literally quite a big company lah. Okay, they also deal with private hospitals as well, not only the government sector. Okay. Okay, next is DELEUM. You will have to see whether the stock is able to break out from the resistance or not of 0.95, and the support is super clear at 0.89. You see it's hitting every single time. but we will have to see whether it breaks 0.95 or not lah. Okay, the resistance is clearly at 0.95. Here cannot, come up here, break a while, then break down back. And also it has this downtrend line, which you see it didn't actually break lah. Okay, it attempted to break and came back down. So your resistance at 0.95, and oh sorry, this is support. Okay, DANCO. This one actually gap up over here, try to break the resistance and then couldn't lah. Okay, so your current resistance is 0.405, but you may see the stock forming another support at about here, 0.425 to 0.43 as a new support lah, because of the gap. Okay, it may come back down, cover the gap, and then rebound back. Something to see lah. Okay, big also same, is actually in a very box manner. You can actually see the support is at 0.685, while the resistance is at 0.73. Okay, it may just continue trading sideways. Okay, it really depends, but the volume on the attempts on breakout days are actually quite encouraging. Okay, we will wait to see whether it's able to break out or not lah. Okay, next is MUHIBAH. This stock actually not bad. If you look at it as a whole, you will see that is kind of it's kind of forming like an inverse head and shoulders. If it manages to break out lah. Okay, you see it's like one, then this the head, and then it may form a shoulder like this. Okay, quite interesting. I don't follow this stock, but the recent pattern and the volume is quite interesting lah. Okay, there may be something brewing, I don't know. Okay, but it may take longer than just 1 week to break out from here lah, if it's really an inverse head and shoulders, and for it to appear in the weekly chart, it should be quite bullish lah. Okay, DSS, I covered this stock quite some time ago. The base building was quite interesting, which was here. Then it came up here, then it got washed out quite badly lah. Okay, yeah, currently it's slowly climbing back up. The recent quarter report is actually not bad. It's profitable. Okay, but the market didn't really support it lah. Okay, so if you look at it in a short-term trend, it's like this. Okay, it's still going higher. Okay, it's not on a downtrend. If you look at it like this, it looks more like an inverse head and shoulders also. So quite bullish lah. Okay, the support is currently at 0.395. It has been there for quite a number of days, and the resistance is clearly at 0.415 lah. Okay, this one is quite a penny stock. Okay, a few bits will really make you lose your pants lah. Okay, so the resistance is at 0.225, while the support is at 0.19. Quite obvious lah. Okay, it's just that the stock is forming smaller cups along the way. Okay, from here to here, and then here, it's actually forming smaller lah, but it's not a head and shoulders lah. The support here is actually at the same 0.17, but it's not a head and shoulders, but the cup is getting smaller and smaller, which is a very good thing lah. Okay, MAGNI, I also covered MAGNI before. I think it's quite interesting to see more of a dividend stock. Okay, 4.74%, climbing up higher. Okay, it's a very good trend lah. Okay, so like I mentioned previously, the stock broke out from this triangle and then broke up, reached up to about here, the resistance of 1.94, then came back down to about 1.89 for pullback lah. Okay, so currently it's at 1.89. Quite a strong support lah. Okay, and it's expected because it was quite a heavy resistance in the previous triangle. Okay, so we'll wait to see whether it's a successful breakout or not lah. Okay, APB, again I put this stock because of the high volume that is coming in, and I think it's already forming smaller cups as well. Okay, So if you look at this one, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Okay, so the breakout point will be 2.53, which is the resistance, and the support will be at 2.38 lah. Okay. Next is MYNEWS. Quite a long downtrend since what, 1.78 since 2018, downtrend all the way. Currently I think it's quite okay, but the stock will definitely need to cover this level first, which is 0.57 lah. Okay, and currently facing some resistance at 0.52 level, and I assume will be up to 0.53 level lah. Okay, the support is at 0.495. Not bad, quite solid also. You can see many times it has hit this area. Okay, this one hit many times. So if this maintains to become a support, okay, this maintains to become a support, then it will be a very bullish thing for MYNEWS lah. Okay. Okay, next is INARI. I think this is one of the tech giants in Malaysia lah. Okay, dealing with Broadcom, 5G and stuff like that. It was downtrend for a very long time. Okay, for what, 2021 until here 2023, about 2 years lah. Okay, but started to climb higher. I think since the news from Apple with regards to Broadcom, I think then INARI is kind of directly beneficial from it. So started climbing from that time, and until now is kind of climbing still. The volume on Wednesday is quite good. Attempted to break out but failed, and then the next day's volume is quite low, which is a good thing for a pullback. Okay, current resistance is at clearly 3.19 to 3.2, but I will assume 3.2, you need to break 3.2 to continue going higher lah. Okay, and the support you see is actually this zone lah. Okay, every time when it hits to 2.98 to about 2.93, this level, the stock kind of just rebounds. Okay, so something to look out for. SAMCHEM, actually the recent quarter is quite good. The support is quite clear at 0.51, but I did not put any resistance there. I think it's quite solid lah, this support. Okay, you can see that the volume is already building up over here. Okay, the volume is increasing while the stock is not really coming down. Okay, the stock is quite stable. Okay, it seems that from other fundamentalists, if you actually read the quarter report, the stock is actually the company is doing quite well, even despite the inflation and stuff like that. So maybe SAMCHEM has found its bottom. I don't know, but it seems to not be breaking 0.51 lah. Okay, that's a very good support. UWC, I think is one of the tech stocks, darling stocks from COVID time, which is doing quite well. So again, you can see something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, quite nice lah. Okay, if we go for a weekly chart, you have something like this lah. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, kind of like an inverse head and shoulders, but it's a bit hard to see lah. Okay, so currently your highest resistance will be 3.64 and your immediate resistance will be 3.55. Consolidating with your support at 3.42 and also 3.29. Okay, if 3.42 manages to become a new support, then you will have higher and higher supports, higher and higher bases for support. Okay, if not, then you will come back down to his previous support, which is 3.29 lah. Okay. Okay, next stock is EG. EG is actually quite bullish. Actually, if you look at the stock, it has been on sideways for very long. Okay, and then this high then came to breakout. I think with the QR's help, it broke out, and then it stood here at 0.95. And since then, it has been climbing higher lah. Okay, so I quite like the trend that is something like this, and it may go higher lah. Okay, just something that looks quite bullish to me. Current resistance is at 1.55 and the support is at 1.44. Okay, and the last stock in my watch list is FRONTKN, a tech stock, also a darling during COVID time. Okay, same thing. I kind of see something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breakout. Okay, then retest. So if you take like this level, it's actually an inverse head and shoulders already, which is a bullish thing lah. Okay, so I don't know, maybe tech stocks are actually coming back into the Malaysian market. It has been sold down for an extremely long time. Currently FRONTKN is trading in this sideways trend. Volume is a bit erratic lah. Okay, I can't deny it. There are some days with almost no volume and there are some days with pretty high volume. Resistance at 3.5 and also the support is at 3.28. Okay, so we will have to wait and see, but the quarter report is quite far from here, so it won't have like a QR effect lah. Okay, so generally from my point of view, I think market is quite bullish. We will wait and see. Maybe it's going to be bullish until the Malaysia's budget will be announced. I'm not so sure, but as of now I see it as quite bullish lah. Okay, if you have any other questions, no. So that'll be the end of my video for this week. Do remember to follow, like and subscribe, and comment if you have any queries. Okay, I will reply to your comment. If you have any queries, you have any chart reviews, you can always join my Telegram group. It's a channel. I will actually put a comment there for chart reviews and you can comment lah. I will get back to you. Okay, so this is actually my journal. Yeah. Okay, so before I end the video, nothing in this video is actually a buy or sell call. It's actually just a review of my watch list on what are the stocks I chose and the support and resistance of it. Okay, this should not be treated as a buy or sell call. If you will require a buy or sell call, please look for your remiser or brokerage company. Okay, that will be all. Thank you and see you all next week. Bye bye.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.